Good morning, fellow option traders. This is Jeff, and welcome to the daily scan for Thursday, November 14th, 2013. All right. Nothing happened yesterday on the announcement front. I looked at a couple of these, yawn. But today we have some possible excitement at 8:30, as usual on Thursday. We have jobless claims every Thursday, and then I'm not sure if these are weekly or not, but we have international trade and productivity and costs. Let's see if there's anything else that happens later. We have the petroleum status report at 11, and that is about it. So let's move smartly over and take a look at what's happening across both ponds. Over on the Pacific pond, we had a very nice bullish day, solidly bullish in Asia, probably following the solidly bullish day yesterday here. And over in Europe at lunchtime, roughly, we're looking at a solidly bullish day there as well. A couple things I wanted to point out here. Let's see. Janet Yellen set to defend Fed's bond buys to Senate. Yeah, I had heard that she is very bullish on the QE philosophy, and if she ends up being the next Fed chairman, count on it continuing. So that is bullish for the markets. And here is a article that you should probably take a look at. Tracks 10 billionaires. No, my name's not in there. I think they went alphabetically, out of all the billionaires, and mine just didn't end up there. Just kidding. But you should read this. It's pretty interesting. And we have the CEO of the year from Market Watch or the Wall Street Journal or whatever you want to call it. Elon Musk, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Tesla, is the CEO of the year. And then this guy, Morgan Stanley, here comes the Fed taper. James Gorman predicts central bank will start its bond buying pullback in a couple of months. Bull. If Janet Yellen gets in, aren't you reading the newspaper or listening to the news? Maybe not. Okay, that's enough about that. Let's take a look at what's happening with the futures here. And we're looking nicely up for the futures here. And gold has a really nice pop this morning. And oil is now below 94. So kind of good signs. I mean, gas prices are still not below $3 around here in central Ohio, but they may get below $3 sometime in the near future if this trend continues here. I want to take a look at this intraday chart on the ES. We started out with a gap down from the previous day, and it just kept climbing all day long. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice. Okay, let's go take a look at what I have in play here. Looking pretty good on everything except the VIX. Of course, if the market keeps climbing, then VIX is going to have a hard time paying off here. But we don't have a lot at risk, and I was willing to take a shot at that. So we'll see how that plays out. Amazon and the weekly 10 a.m. SPX trade are both doing quite well. And yesterday I told you I was going to get out of Priceline, and I did. LinkedIn, and I did. I sold it, the whole thing, for a nickel, or I bought it, the whole thing, back for a nickel. So I ended up with 72 cents on that trade. And also I closed Priceline yesterday. So let's take a look at Priceline, because I know I put an alert here, a bail alert right along here. I was a little concerned about it, and it gave me a nice pop during the day, so I sold it for, or I closed it for 22 cents. So I collected 90 and I closed for 22. So I ended up with a 68-cent gain on that. So I don't need this alert anymore. Okay, now I had this simulated put calendar on here. I want to just go back and take a look at a picture of that. Let's see here. I'm going to get this so you guys can see it for sure. Alright. Need to move this out of the way. I was messing around with this. Okay, here is earnings after earnings. Here's the Priceline calendar. Remember, the peak was above 3,000. Well, volatility collapse just killed that sucker. And the peak not after earnings and when the IV dropped. And you can see that IV did drop. Remember, it was around it was over 100%. On this November 2 expiration. So it was up over 100%, and IV collapse just took all the money out of it. It took the money out of everything, including the long. And so our peak dropped from slightly over 3,000 to looks like, 1,300 something maybe. So that's what happened with that one. And okay, here's what happens when you say that you go to your charts up here where the monkey wrench is, and you go to your charts and you want to see orders. This is where I was telling you when I entered the price line that I put a limit about a nickel or so above the midpoint in the market, and it did come down and catch it. I think in this candle it actually came down and caught this. Now this is an estimate. It's not really an actual price. You're not going to get an execution necessarily if it hits it. It all depends on how the Greeks are working out and how the prices are being posted and what people are willing to pay. But it did come down there and hung around there for a while, long enough to get the trade to execute, and we made some money on it. So that's always a good thing. And then I wanted to show you this other picture here. This is the price line when I got out of it yesterday. So I decided that I had made enough on it, and I'm going to take my profits and fold, I guess, not fold, but take my profits off the table, I guess you might say. All right, what else did I do? I wanted to look at the BIDU calendar and see what that looks like right now. Remember, I had done a BIDU calendar a while back, and here's what it looks like right now. Let's see what our calendar is at 150, and we've been kind of hanging around this 150, and we could have pulled a little bit of money out of this. So this cost us $97 to get into it, and we're up 48 on it. That's a 50% profit. So in my mind, I would say I'm taking that out. All right, and that's of course not including transaction costs. So for me, because I'm $1.25 per contract, it would be $2.50 or $5 total eating into this profit here. I'd still make $40 off of it, and that's always a good thing. Making a little money is always a good thing. Doesn't have to be gobs and gobs of money. You don't have to try to hit it and hit it and hit it again and again, taking $10,000 in profits. You don't have to do that. Just keep nickel and diming this thing and let the numbers work for you. That's what I say. All right, one other thing I wanted to mention before we go on to the A+ list is I am planning on jumping into the time machine sometime soon, and what I wanted to look at, remember I was talking about this IV percentile? I want to go into the past and take a look at doing iron condors on high IV percentile stocks that of various prices, and take a look to see if it's worth it to grab profits at 50%, say. If your max profits would be 50 cents and you get to 25 cents and you take your money off the table, say, as an example. So that's what I plan on looking at, and I hope that I can get to it this weekend. And there's a couple other strategies that I might be looking at as well. But we'll take a look at the iron condors first using this IV percentile, and I'll show you how you can do a scan to look for that, and what stocks to use or what underlines, and how to utilize that. So I'm hoping beyond hope to be able to get to that this weekend, now that things have kind of settled down around here. All right, I'm ready for the A+ list. Are you? Let's get to it. All right, start with Apple. Okay, we're still in our following our downtrend nicely. Just a little bit of a violation here, but not much of one. Remember, this is just as a guideline, as a visual tool. It's not necessarily a prediction of any sort. But looking over here on the weeklies, we've still got a white dot, but we might be getting a magenta dot here soon. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm not seeing any trade here at this time. Can we maybe do a calendar? We might be able to do a calendar at the money or somewhere around there, but I'm not doing that right now. Still looking at direction, and I think the direction is up overall in the market, so we'll have to see if we can take some advantage of that. Here's our Amazon trade. Looking very nice right now. I may close that today. And here's the reason why. We take a look at this. Our max profit's 149 or 150, and we're at 109. So I don't want to try to squeeze blood out of a turnip. Let's take my money off the table. Now, is there anything else happening here? Do we have another entry? Nothing that excites me. BIDU is next. Here's the BIDU calendar. Looking for a hook down. Let's move this over. I don't think I'm looking for a hook down anymore. It's a little bit late to get in with the bull put. We're still looking kind of negative here. Can we see, is there some support someplace? We have, looking at resistance at 140 in the past, and maybe there's some support here. Is there a calendar that we would be willing to do on that? Maybe slightly further out, say like December 1. Looking at that trend, we set at 140. We'll just grab this one and do a calendar on it, and then we'll change the strike price to 140. Not available. I bet you, they probably don't even have one down that far at this time, so we might have to go to regular December. There we go. This would have to be changed to January. Oops. December 1. What did I do? There we go. Yeah, that one would be 95 cents. We'll put a lock on that. So I might do that. It's only 95 bucks to get in on that. And if we end up down there, that could be a double. That could be a double. Doubler. I'm probably going to do that today. So I have to try to remember to look at my notes when I sit down to trade today to make sure that I have this one included. Now you see why, right? We got 140. So if we were to like squish this down a little bit here, and let's draw a trend line. We want a little slightly longer term trend line. So, oops, we'll draw it over here and see how, at what date we end up at 140. And this is 12.9. So we might be playing around that 140 mark at 12.9. Now, as it pulls back, IV is going to increase a little bit, and we'll have to wait a little bit longer to pull the money out of it. But it's looking, first week in December, expiration 12.9. I don't think it can be, if it works out this way, it can't get any better than that. So let's see how that one works out. All right, Celgene. Too much price consolidation there, so not interested in anything right now. This resistance seems to be working out, so I can pat myself on the back about that one. CF, nothing yet. Oh, speaking of this IV percentile on the chart, the think script code for that, I'll put that on my blog. I might, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that, but I'll be working on that over the next day or two. I want to get to my downloads page to start working correctly. So I have been kind of neglecting the blog lately because of all the videos that I'm doing and all the other stuff that's going on with this move. But my plan is to, of course, start paying a little bit more attention to the blog. So here we have some really nice swings. So maybe we can come down here, capture something on the bullish side. All right, Chipotle. We got a hook here, but price action's not working out the way that I would like to see it work out, so we're taking a pass on that. Didn't like the strikes. Didn't like the deltas at that time. Google had a very nice day yesterday. I think I might just have to put an alert on that. And this might be, what is today? Thursday. This might be an overnight trade. So we're putting an alert on that. And we'll see how that works out. Only $1 up from what it closed yesterday. So we'll look at Google if that alert goes off and see if we're going to do an overnight with an expiration tomorrow at the money, or whether we would do a expiration for next week. Goldman, I'm going to skip them because I think I'm going to remove them off of my list. All right, so LinkedIn, that's a good idea to get out of it yesterday, wasn't it? That was a very good idea. Because I would be kicking myself today. So that's another good reason for, take your profits off the table. You don't have to get max profit all the time. Don't be afraid to take them off the table. So now we're waiting for another opportunity to get in on LinkedIn. All right, so MasterCard. Definitely looking at some resistance here at the 740 mark. We're looking for a trade here. I'm not seeing anything, so I'm taking this target off of here so it doesn't... Oh, there's a bunch of holes there, so that it doesn't... doesn't interest me, and I don't want it to attract my attention. Netflix, pretty much the same thing. A lot of price consolidation. Not seeing any direction there, so I'm taking that one off. Another possible calendar candidate, possibly. Of course, it's kind of this is flattened out because of this huge bar here. So if we were to just ignore that bar by sliding our scale here, well, we're still in pretty much a consolidation here. This is turning into a wedge. And a wedge is a pattern that when it breaks it, usually it pops one way or the other. But we don't know which way it's going to pop, so we're not interested right now. Price line. Yeah, price line looking real good. We have to wait for a new opportunity, so let's activate this and slide it into the future. Tesla. We threw an alert on Tesla yesterday to jump in on this because we thought it might be heading down, and it may or may not be. It was a mixed day yesterday. There's a struggle between the bears and the bulls, so let's let them fight it out and see who wins. And lastly, Visa. We have at least some short-term resistance here at the 200 mark. Don't know where that one is headed. So we're going to just wait and watch. So we have one for today with Google, and also the BIDU calendar that I'm probably going to enter into. And then we'll actually be able to keep an eye on that as a live trade. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and happy trading.